All right, there we go. Hey, well,
Right.
welcome everybody. It's back to Track Limits Racing Sports Car Series Season 2 of 2026. I am Fettuccini, back in the production booth once again, and alongside me, as always, is Phil. Welp, Millie, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, man.
We are back for another exciting week. Our second round of this 8. I know we just had the schedule up, but my brain apparently immediately hemorrhaged it.
8 rounds.
8 rounds.
No, you got
it. Scheduled for this season. And we were at one of my personal favorites, I think also one of your personal favorites, Interlagos.
Yeah. I like this track. The technical nature of it, I think it's really good for close racing. Can be kind of hectic with multi-class, but I think everybody's geared up to get through it.
I think so as well. Speaking of gearing up, the championship I think is already gearing up to be a pretty interesting fight throughout what we got last week at Spa. And take a quick look at these points standings, starting with the LMP3 Pro. Jesus. Jack Wilkins and Luke Patrick tied for the lead after one race, with Benjamin O'Shea rounding out that podium, Garrett Hillman and Herbert Pineda. The top 5, Nathaniel Baker, our last driver to have scored points out of our 8 drivers in LMP3 Pro standings.
Yeah.
Thoughts on
It's
this
pretty
one?
crazy. Oh man, just the way the points shook out after round 1 with Luke Patrick taking the top spot in the heat race, and then only getting 35 in the feature, and then Jack Wilkins flip flops it and does the only gets 5 points in the heat race, and then gets 40 points in the feature. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's going to be, I think, a pretty close battle between all of these drivers, as you know, Benjamin O'Shea only 2 points away. Garrett Hillman also only a point behind him as well.
Yep.
Interesting to see how all these drivers shake out tonight. I think we see all 4 of them out on track, maybe minus Garrett Hillman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't see Garrett on timing and scoring, so I think not with us this weekend.
So that battle for the podium still, like we talked, I mean, we're only just getting started, but have such close battling, I think immediately is going to make for even more interesting battling down the road. LMP3 AM. Well, how are we looking there?
Jake Fulton on top with 39 points. We got Sean Sullivan in second with Alan Love in third. Paul Miles in fourth, actually tied with Alan Love, 29 points all. And then Justin Wilming is the last point scorer with 28 points. Oh, excuse me. No, I missed Robert. Rob Edgel. He's got 4 points. Newcomer Brenton McFall hasn't raced with us yet. And then also Logan Branson's with us this week. So.
Yeah, so 2 drivers that we haven't seen out on track at Spa last week are both
here
today and topping the timing tower in practice for the AM category, such to make for, I think, a pretty interesting fight once they get up to speed, because they are a little ways ahead, but not by much, to Jake Fulton.
Yep.
And we get into our well-tenured GT3s, I think is the best way to put that.
Healthy. It's a healthy category.
It is a healthy category. Currently at the top of the tower after the first round at Spa, Anthony Newman going to be leading them off for McLaren, or with McLaren. With 45 points. Only a point behind him, Corey Lobner with 44. Mike Gallant only a point behind Corey Lobner in third there. The podium fight. All these fights so close this week. I'm interested to see how the points here at Interlagos will change these up. Austin Green, Eduardo Zamora rounding out the top 5. Tanner Schiffner, Tyler Torville, Gian Cardoso, Matt Pyle, and Tommy Kogan rounding out the top 10. Mostly separated either in, the same amount of points battling for position. Austin Green, Eduardo Zamora tied as well for those first stops off the podium, as well as Tanner Schiffner and Tyler Torville both tied for those points outside the top 5. And then Matt Pyle and Tommy Kogan tied as well for the top 10. It's going to be a busy grid in the GT3 standings, I think, this season.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty busy. It's there's just so many cars. But at the same time too, I think it's a healthy category, and I'm really excited to see what people can do.
I am as
well.
What about
What about our GT4 Pro runners?
Yeah, I was going to get through the last bit of the GT3 standings. We still have another
Go for it.
group of
Oh, yeah,
drivers.
2 pages.
We have 3 pages technically of drivers. We have 2 pages of people who have drivers that have set points for us so far. Christopher Blue, Ian Southern, Andrew Matthias, Ryan Beauchesne, John Newman, and Dave Schneider are 16 drivers that have set points so far. Kerry Nolan, Carter James, Joey Melidi, as well as Mark Robeson. And the rest of the grid have yet to put in points beyond that, though I see a lot of drivers' names here that we did not see last week to get points in. GT4 Pro. You want to take us away on that one, Will?
Yeah, Scott Fleming on top, 48 points, with Nick Bowen with 44. Jake Hewitt's got 43 points, and Henry Garcia's got 41. So real tight battle up in the top 4. Robert Lewis in the mid-pack category with 33 points. Tim Mello's pretty close. Jaden Ledbetter jumping in GT4 this season, sitting in 7th with Paul York in 8th. Tim Rosenfield, newcomer, with 9 points in 9th place. Ethan Hamlet hasn't raced with us yet. Neither has Mike Bowen. So just looking forward to seeing those guys get in the mix.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see. We have a few drivers out here that we didn't have last week as well amongst those. Interesting to see where Ethan Hamlet gets his timing in, to see where he wants to be on his run for, I think, yet another championship fight. And last, certainly not least, the GT4 AM drivers. Chris Turner going to be leading that one off. Jonathan Barrett in 2nd there, and Victor Liddy is going to be in 3rd. Our 3 drivers in the GT4 AM standings that have set, been with us at Spa, and got some championship points to start us out. The drop weeks, I think, will swing in the favor for the few drivers like Levi Powell, who I believe we see out here this week, who we did not see out, as well as Jonathan.
Yeah.
A couple others as well. It would be cool to see William Lewis joining them, and the 6 drivers that take up our GT4M category.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy time.
Right.
Lot to keep track of course, over the course of a 20-minute heat and a 90-minute feature that we have again on offer for everyone this evening.
Indeed.
Speaking of on offer,
go ahead.
Qualifying underway for these drivers as they're getting their out laps set and done. GT3s, LMP3s, GT4s, all doing their solo qualifying. They get, I believe, 4 laps or 10 minutes is the timing offer there.
Yep, whichever comes first, yep.
So, let's see who's close to the end of their lap. We've not brought on board with yet.
That would probably be Mark Robeson. Jake Fulton also has started his first flyer, I believe. Or actually, no, Jack Wilkins has actually got time on board with a 29.422.
Certainly is. Luke Patrick going to be right behind him as well. Let's see. I was trying to
tip him by 8/800ths of a second.
Yep.
Yeah, LMP3 times coming in. We got some GT3 times coming in. Corey Lobner on top with 32.7. But Anthony Newman pips him with a 32.74, 100th of a second, splitting him. Man, I'm just loving how close everybody is right now.
Yeah. Such close battling between all these drivers is going to make, I think, for some very, very close battles here once we get on track.
Indeed.
Figure out who's close to the end of a lap that we can do a walkthrough of the lap.
Let me take a peek real fast. I would say... No, everybody's pretty much in the middle.
Yeah, we have a bunch of drivers that are in the middle of the lap. A bunch that have just started theirs.
I would say if you were going to pick one that was the closest, it's probably going to be Jake Fulton.
I think it will be Jake Fulton.
In the 7.4.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say we'll hop into the roll bar and onto a lap with this.
Oh,
do you want to take us through an LMP3 or do you want me to?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it.
All right.
Jake Fulton, live from the mail slot, heading down the start-finish straightaway here at Interlagos. And he's getting ready to go into the Senna S's right now. This is a very, very tough corner, especially when you're doing the multi-class racing. It can be very awkward. He's going to exit out of this left-hander here, and he's got a straightaway. The pit exit also comes out into this spot. So it's actually kind of a safe pit exit, but if people are racing pretty hard down into this downhill left-hander, this one right here has got massive runoff. So kind of a safe corner for there to be some good fighting. And now when we're getting into what I guess the F1 circuit would call the Sector 2 portion, this inner sector, the uphill portion with the double, well, actually, I think it's like a triple right-hander before we hit like a double, like a twin hairpin setup. This one right here, again, when you're dealing with the multi-class cars, that can be pretty crazy. Yeah, going through the right-hander here, taking all the curb with him, and then hitting the next hairpin. And then this one right here is going to push out on this hairpin, basically to set himself up for the final 2 corners. Yeah, Curva de Sol. This one right here is very interesting when you're watching on stream because he's basically going to pin the left side of his car as close as he can to the barriers. And then come across the line. And let's see what he posts for a time. Looks like a 29.94, which keeps him on top of the LMP3 AM category.
That does an improvement for him as well. It is such a fun track that I think, like, if you're in the LMP3, you're going to have the most fun just because you have the downforce to really leverage a faster minimum speed through a lot of the slower sections of Sector 2, because it's such a weird amount of almost too much oversteer there, and the curbs are not kind at the LMP3 here at Interlagos. So the opportunity there, that corner, because it's downhill, you have to brake a little bit earlier than I think you initially want to, in order to make sure you don't go flying into the wide amount of runoff you get in the sector number 2.
Looking right now, I'm seeing a lot of people that haven't posted a time yet. Some people haven't even gone out on track yet. Alexander Vitoshkin in GT3 hasn't turned a lap yet. Ethan Hamlin hasn't turned a lap yet. Ian Southern hasn't turned a lap yet. Austin Green is fighting the car. And looks like he's gonna get out on this straightaway.
Giving a quick view of what it looks like in GT3. Big difference. You're going to see Austin Green, I think, set this car up definitely for its straight line speed, but it's definitely one that looks like it's fighting him in some of these corners. That rear end really squirrely. I'm not quite sure where in the setup he's got it to where it almost feels like he has to just do a lot of counter steal. It almost looks like he's in a rally car with how much he's snapping that steering back the other direction to keep that car from over rotating.
Yeah.
But you can see that slower speed in that middle sector makes for some very harrowing multi-class battling for the LMP3 and GT3 traffic. You're going to see a lot of interesting moments here, and I think it'll make for some fun battling once we get into it. But
the uphill section here out of I believe it's Junkao, and now again, watch him pin the car as close as he can to the left side. It's almost like he's going into the pits, dodges the barrier on the left and comes across the line. Let's see what he posts up. Austin Green in the pony. 32.7.
Looks like it.
He's going to stay 20th overall. I believe that puts him... Does that put him in class?
Oh.
Always bad at this. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting. Oh, I see it now. Okay, I was on the wrong tab. That's why. Anyway, Austin Green currently 10th in class.
Seeing everybody's trying to make a final attempt at it. Nick Bowen going to try to see if he can improve a second time off of his initial time, but he's going to be running into pit lane, so I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, important.
The big difference, I think, for the GT4 drivers, we haven't gotten quite a chance to ride on board for a lap with them, but is that, again, slower speed than the GT3s, excuse me. And we'll see probably the easiest multi-class interactions between them and the the LMP3s over the course of Interlagos in this middle sector. But I don't think it'll be fully free of chaos.
The end of the lap at Sector 3 with the GT3s and LMP3s is going to be particularly interesting to watch. There's a lot of there's the speeds are very comparable between GT3 and LMP3. So.
Yeah, that they
We got the grid.
are. We do, in fact, have a grid as these drivers are getting set to go for the 20-minute heat race in the LMP3 category. We're going to have the likes of Jack Wilkins leading off the LMP3 pros with Luke Patrick alongside him. These two battling for both the championship as well as probably the podium here in class. Benjamin O'Shea rounding out that podium as well. Nathaniel Baker just off of it as well before we get into the likes of Paul Miles and Jake Fulton for the the LMP3 AM category. Logan Branson rounding out that podium, all three of those together with Herbert Pineda splitting the difference in that LMP3 AM category. And then we get into the likes. I think this will move me too far, as it usually does, of Sean Sullivan and Bretton McFall. Alan Love rounding out that 11-car LMP3 grid. Well, do you want to take off the GT3s?
Absolutely. Carter James on top with Mike Gallant. He's going to be on the following row of the grid alongside Anthony Newman. Corey Lobner lines up alongside Tanner Shifter with Gian Cardoso, Kerry Nolan, Christopher Blue, and Matt Pyle filling out the next 2 rows of the grid. Andrew Mathias is lining up alongside Austin Green with Mark Robeson, Eduardo Zamora, Tommy Cogan, John Newman filling out the next 2 rows with Dave Schneider, Ryan Beauchesne, and Ryan Nolan filling out the GT3 field.
18 cars in that field, the biggest one on track in terms of a single class. We got a couple more that are at the end of the grid there because I think there's 20 in total. Nick Bowen, however, is going to lead off the GT4 Pros with Scott Fleming alongside him and Jake Hewitt in third there. Tim Mello alongside Jaden Ledbetter for that next row. Henry Garcia, one of the last ones in before we split into the likes of William Lewis, Jonathan Barrett, as well as Levi Powell. The 3 GT4 AMs on track today. Paul York, Ethan Hamlet, and Robert Lewis going to be the last 3 GT4 Pro drivers. Last 2 not setting a time there. Ian Southern and Alexander Vitoshkin going to be our 2 GT3s that don't set a time either. We'll see them make their way up through the grid to be a part of the GT3 start here in just a moment. It is an abbreviated pace lap here at Interlagos, meaning we don't get a whole lot of time to warm up the tires before we go racing.
Yep.
Final thoughts before we get underway.
No, I'm very excited to see kind of how the field shakes out after turn 1. I think that's going to be the big thing, is especially hoping that with the abbreviated pace car lap, that the GT3s and the GT4s can get spaced out properly behind the LMP3s so that we don't have much chaos happening. But we'll see.
That we will, as the drivers are getting set to start their 20-minute heat race. Not a ton of time left for them, but plenty of time to get warmed up. All of these drivers looking to make for a
packed up
raring start. Another foggy day like we had at Spa last week.
Yeah.
And early morning racing, making for some interesting lighting as well as fun driving conditions for those drivers out on track, as the track temp as well as on track in-air temperature both pretty relatively the same at 20 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in freedom units off the top of my head, but less of an importance. Jack Wilkins will lead away the field here. In just a moment's time, we'll see that green flag drop. The red lights will illuminate for us on the broadcast. He punches that a little early, I'd say, by comparison, as they all pile down into turn number 1.
Yeah.
Into
the S's, and we got a touch.
Absolutely.
Looks like everybody's going to make it out alive, but definitely a moment where there was some touching going on. And GT3s now, and this field is large, and it looks like we might have a 3 wide eventually going in here.
Yeah, a couple spots. We had 3 wide. Kerry Nolan going to be a part of that group. All 20 of the drivers seeming to get through it okay for the time being. Nick Bowen going to have a moment as well. But they all work their way through. Much tamer start for the GT4 field, but no less exciting as Paul York has a moment. It's going to see him bump that front end of that Mercedes into the wall.
It looks like it's just smashed, so he's going to still have a little bit of front end on the car. Maybe try and get back out on track and see if he just stick with it a little bit. I did see a brief moment where I keep seeing like indicators that certain people are going off on track and then they did vanish, so I don't know what happened to William Lewis further down, but it does look like he
Yeah.
is going down the order a little bit.
Eduardo Zamora also had an off track, I think, amongst those, but he has gotten himself sorted and back into the field. As we look our way back up, Jack Wilkins, Luke Patrick, going to be the two to finish out the first lap with some success. Paul York has a meatball flag, so that is going to, I think, put a little bit of a damper there as they dive back into the Senna S's for the second time. And that's going to be a spin out of Luke Patrick. Keeps it out of harm's way. Fun little 360. That is going to see him drop down, I think, to the end of the LMP3 order as he gets that car going again. Should be able to stick ahead of the GT3s that come roaring down the start-finish stretch for the second lap. Those two Echelon Motorsports. McLaren's going to be in the lead there. Carter James, Mike Gallant from the same team as Jack Wilkins. All looking to make their championship aspirations a little bit brighter. The top four, though, separated by only a couple seconds as it stands. Corey Lobner at the tail end of these.
That is like a really good shot of everybody coming down that mega straightaway. That was pretty cool.
That certainly
Where
was.
everybody got to turn 4.
Take a look from the onboard here for Corey Lobner.
Got some field's gonna on a track like this, especially with multi-class racing. I suspect the field is gonna spread out pretty fast. That said, I think this is one of those races where, because it is a shorter lap, you're really going to want to focus on your pit lane strategy, especially when we get into the feature race. Probably not going to be as much of a big deal for the heat race. Man, the closing speed of the McLaren was just so quick. I thought Tommy was doomed. Yeah. I also, if I remember correctly, I think I'm gonna say this. I don't know if this is true or not. I think Tommy Cogan's using hand controls.
Oh.
I don't think his pedals work.
Oh, interesting.
So we're going to see what the 55 Lambo, what the purple wedge can do. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely will see. A few of these drivers going to be doing too wide. As Austin Green looks to try to improve where he's stationed amongst the field. GT3 battling pretty darn close. Mike Gallant, I think, going to try to take a defensive move as Anthony Newman has a great run out of the Senna S's to end up right on the tail of that fellow McLaren driver.
Daniel Baker marked his crash as tumbling down the order.
Oh, no. Let's see. Car's gotten moving again, but he will have a moment there. Let's take a quick look if we can. Oh, just think a little bit too much rotation into the braking zone here. Yep. We'll just slide it out from that podium spot. Herbert Pineda going to pick up the positions there. As we have another
Logan
moment.
Branson going down the order, and Logan Branson's front end has departed.
Yeah, along with Nathaniel Baker. Let's see what happened there. That is going to be Robert Lewis, who also has an off, as I'm trying to keep up with all that. This is going to be that moment there. Baker trying to get around and then just catches too much curbing. That's going to impact, and it already spun Logan Branson. Both those drivers going to have to take those cars to pit lane.
Yeah, I think the front right on Logan Branson's car is toast.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it by the fact that we see so much of that wheelbase on the car as it's working its way into pit lane. Meanwhile,
the thing I was going to say is Paul Miles, who qualified, I believe, like 3 spots down from the lead in LMP3 AM, now up in the top spot, currently running 4th overall.
That is, I believe, the case. As we get into the first bit of multi-class traffic, let's pull out that track map. As we have...
It's going to be busy. It's going to be so busy.
It is going to be incredibly busy as a lot of these drivers work their way through.
I suspect probably by next lap we'll have the GT3s catching the back of GT4s, and
or at least our one GT3 driver, William Lewis, who is where he is because I think of a spin as well earlier. A little bit separated from those drivers.
So yeah, survival at a track like Interlagos is going to be a pretty big deal.
2x2x1 as they go into the final corner here. That's going to be, I think, a pretty intense moment.
Yep.
Who am I right on board with?
So
for
the
all
anchor's
this?
out maybe a little bit suddenly, and then here we go. We got Austin Green, Slipstream.
Defensive moves
This is
out of Andrew Matthias.
Bananas.
And Gian Cardoso in his one-off livery. Too wide, by the way, for Austin Green and Kerry Nolan in the background of this. It's going to see Kerry Nolan cede the position. Ian Southern labeled as disqualified for failing to serve a black flag. I wonder what for.
That's a good question.
Wildly early. Too super wide out of Andrew Matthias as he's trying to keep up and fight with his position over Gian Cardoso.
Yeah, out of turn 4 is pretty tough. Again, turn 4 has got a massive runoff area, so I'm not shocked to see hard racing, especially in this infield section.
Yeah, Eduardo Zamora catching up to this group as well. Mark Robeson also joining the 6 cars that are in this really close battle.
This is pretty tight racing.
That it certainly is.
I like it.
Big bunch up in the field. Gian Cardoso gonna get passed by Andrew Matthias properly now as they work their way into the braking zone of the really final important corner. The last two obviously pretty much flat out once you get around that nice 90-degree right hand or left-hander. GT3 field in pockets of battling. Obviously our leaders are still in a fight as well. The actual leader of GT3 Carter James, Gian Cardoso, still on the defensive line.
They're all pros in our hearts.
Yes, they are all pros in our hearts.
Mike Gallant did set the fastest lap in GT3 with a 31.57, so 0.3 up on Carter James, but the Echelon McLaren's currently locked in P1, P2 of GT3 right now. Andrew Newman's losing a little bit of ground to Mike Gallant, currently 0.8 back. And then if you're really looking for a fight, you've got to go back to that really massive pocket of cars that's being led by Gian Cardoso right now.
Yeah, I'd say that battle just seems to have, I think, everybody in the rest of the GT3 category behind him now.
Jake Fulton's starting to close in on Paul Miles. The gap now is 0.2.
That is the case.
Yeah, Paul Miles currently 4th overall, leading LMP3 AM, and Jake Fulton really Jake Fulton loses the back end. We spoke too soon, and traction control in LMP3 still a myth. Still, it's not real.
The dishwasher,
it is
once again letting itself be known.
Yeah,
this battle, however, having Brett McFall and Alan Love for the
newcomer.
Yeah, he had a spin a little bit earlier.
He is marked as back at it, and he is all over the gearbox.
And Anthony Newman going to be joining those with crashes. Corey Laubner, I think, had to take evasive action amongst all this too. Turn number 1, pretty brutal if you get it wrong, and that switchback will catch you out if you over-rotate it. Corey Laubner taking the infield to not make sure he doesn't run into anybody.
Yeah, but he is able to rejoin quickly. Now, whether or not those tires are going to do anything for him from here on out, that's questionable.
And he will join the mass of cars. Let's see. Let's ride on board. Much like we saw with Herbert Pineda a little bit earlier. Is this one or is it the gearbox? The gearbox is, I think, the one I want out of this.
Yeah.
You can see the snake of cars all working their way through the second sector.
Yep. GT4 field spreading out. LMP3 field starting to spread out. I think if you were looking for a good fight, you're probably going to have to go back to Jonathan Barrett and Levi Powell in GT4. Although, actually, Scott Fleming and Jake Fulton, or excuse me, not Jake Fulton, Jake Hewitt, they look like they're...
Andrew Matthias is getting such a good run.
Oh, Jake Hewitt actually just pipped Nick Bowen. They're going back and forth. They're ping-ponging.
see here. Dive into this GT4 battle. All three of the podium sitters within a second of each other, within a half a second almost.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. But it's really starting to look like the McLaren's pretty strong GT4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Fleming in the Serial Team 6 37 car.
And like you were talking about, that multi-class traffic catching up to these drivers. Herbert Pineda now trying to figure out how to get around these podium sitters without causing a problem. He's going to slice in between the two of them. Luke Patrick also going to join him. Nathaniel Baker going to join him as well. From where he is a couple laps down. And Paul Miles going to rejoin. Fight here. Henry Garcia as well as Tim Mello. Too wide going down the start-finish stretch. That'll be, I think, a pretty interesting one.
And I do not want to be on the inside of the penultimate corner with a guy on the outside because I just keep thinking like, man, somebody is going to throw the squeeze on you and you end up in that tire barrier right there.
Yeah.
Just absolutely deleted.
I think it'd be a pretty cruel way to secure a position.
Yeah, it would feel like a takedown and burnout.
That is like the Need for Speed Most Wanted, like destroyed cop car animation.
Busted.
Oh, speaking of busted, Tim Mello sliding out wide, trying not to run into Henry Garcia, and Paul York gonna follow him out that far.
Yeah, I think with the multi-class, especially when you're going out of the exit turn 4, I would not be shocked if these GT4s just take to the runoff to make sure that they don't get caught out with the LMP3s. Jaden Ledbetter in the McLaren.
Yeah.
Got the sandbags ink on the side of the car for this season.
Mm-hmm. Battling for the bottom podium spot of GT or LMP3 Pro. It's going to be kicking off again as Herbert Pineda, Luke Patrick find themselves in a battle. Paul Miles looking for that overall improvements. It's going to be chasing them down as well. A little bit of multi-class traffic, I think, held them up just a little bit.
Luke Patrick has pulled himself back up into P3 after the early spin. Still a pretty sizable distance back from Benjamin O'Shea.
Yeah, and that's going to be a slow line for Herbert Pineda.
Yep.
I think he's going to see this battle being forced into turn number 4
here. Here we go. Yep. Turn number 4. If you've never seen the shots about how track limits work at turn number 4, just go back and look at 2021 Sao Paulo F1, where Max Verstappen took Lewis Hamilton out to the hot dog stand.
Paul Miles going to secure that spot for the time being. As Andrew Mathias, Anthony Newman are going to go around turn number 3, too wide, which is giving Gian Cardoso plenty of time. Once again, these still only a couple seconds between, I think, the bottom half of the GT3 grid.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
They are side by side.
They are going to keep going side by side. Gian Cardoso probably enjoying from where he's at. That's a little brief moment of contact. And a huge catch out of Andrew Mathias is going to keep him in that position. But he's not super happy about that.
How did he save that car? I thought I was about to witness half the field die.
Some great hands out of there. Andrew Mathias, however, not going to leave that position go quietly. He's going to work too wide with Gian Cardoso, who's still trying to find his own way through.
Yep. We still got an LMP3 in the background. I think that's Logan Branson.
I think it is Logan Branson.
I think Logan Branson is just like, guys, I just want to live.
Well, this is also not going to give him any blue flags because he's still trying to fight for overall positions from his incident earlier. Seeing him try to crawl his way back up through the through the GT3 ranks. So
and
they're
what's
just
even worse. and now he's gonna get like a really good jump out of this penultimate corner, and then the drag from the LMP3, the GT3s are just gonna keep up on the way to turn number 1.
Yep.
So.
Andrew Mathias.
Like, I don't think he's going to clear. He's not going to clear Gian entirely.
Well, he got there. He might have slowed Gian down a little bit. And Gian's now trying to make sure he doesn't run into Andrew Mathias, which has slowed all of them down. Matt Pyle in the background of this is trying to find his own way through again. as well as Austin Green, Gary Nolan still working their own ways.
This is crazy.
Oh, boy.
They are so close. I feel like we're
This
about to
is-
witness death.
Oh my goodness.
This is
the
crazy.
the timing relatives stress me out on this battle right here.
It is just, I mean, from our interface, you guys can't see it the same way because it shows like this nice like orange. But on my end, it's just like a pile of red.
Yeah. They
just a
simplify
red
the
block.
colors.
Yeah.
Gary Nolan going to get a good run to get around Austin Green, who had to check up to not run into Matt Pyle and Andrew Matthias, who almost had another set of contact there. Anthony Newman going to get away with it for the time being, as multi-class traffic of GT4s are going to impede a little bit, not too much.
Yeah. And we are inside the last 3 minutes, by the way, of the heat race.
Oh my gosh.
It flew by. It was so fast.
Nick Bowen, Jake
Oh my
Hewitt,
goodness.
going to be going
and
too
we got
wide.
the echelon McLarens in the background.
The leaders of GT3 amongst this battle for the podium on the GT4 Pro, with now including Ethan Hamlet, who started from the back of GT4 in his My Little Mustang. I feel like we've done a lot of riding on Mustangs while looking at McLarens this week, but what's a little bit more? It's at least an Aston Martin amongst those.
Now the question is where's the other echelon? Has it cleared this
It has
GT4
not.
gaggle?
No,
yeah.
it is right behind them. See Jake Fulton
and
right
we got
there.
an LMP3.
Yep, he's trying to work his way back through the order on the GT3 side of things. But that's going to really spice up this battle for the podium. Poor Jake Fulton trying to keep that car going the right direction.
Oh, man.
Is going to
What a
see
catch.
a little bit of time given to him. See now is the inside line. He's going to push Jake Hewitt wide.
Yep, into June Cow.
Oh, that's going to be some contact between him and Nick Bowen.
Yep.
Scott Fleming's going to have the run around the outside, as both of them had to do a little bit of lifting.
Ethan Hamlin is just trying to take advantage.
Absolutely. We have our own camera car at the back end of this. Is Michael Lance finally working his way through.
This poor echelon McLaren has been stuck the whole time.
Oh, as it goes, this GT4
like Mike Galan is like, man, Carter James is already at round 3. He's already off in the distance. It's next weekend for him.
It is next weekend, or just about. Christopher Blue going to add a little bit of craziness for former Scott Fleming, who got, I think, the worst end of the deal there. Rory Lobner.
What is happening?
Amongst those, as these two are now in a battle for this bottom step of the podium, and they're trying to work their way through this traffic.
Oh, look at them. They can hang on to the inside. They've got a little bit more downforce and certainly more oomph than the GT4s.
And through goes as well Tanner Schiffner, going to be right at the tail end of them, and that Mercedes, which is only continuing to complicate the GT4 Pro battle. GT4 AM, pretty solidly, I think, how they started in terms of in-class positions. And pretty much running their own race. Ryan Beauchesne going to have a moment there, which I think is going to spread out that like 10-car battle in the GT3 field as we are, I think, about to take the checkered flag for Jack Wilkins at the end of this lap.
Yeah.
From here, he has run off into the distance from Benjamin O'Shea, only by 4 seconds, though. And then Herbert Pineda and Paul Miles still in this battle for the LMP3 would be top 5 overall. But this is the last battle in LMP3 that is actively going on. So take another turn back at the battle for the GT4 podium, because it is still ongoing as more multi-class traffic works their way around.
This is crazy.
Oh, boy. Yep. Oh, boy. 3 wide going into turn number 1.
we got
Interlagos.
We got 70 minutes. 70 minutes of this here in a second.
Oh, yeah. Ethan Hamlet trying to figure out where he wants to be. Meanwhile, Jack Wilkins will take to the checkered flag and win his second heat race, I believe, of the season. With Benjamin O'Shea going to be rounding out that podium in second. Luke Patrick going to get a respectable third at the end of it all. Meanwhile, Carter James halfway through the lap, solid about 4 seconds ahead of Mike Gallant. Multi-class traffic, I don't think definitely held up those drivers, but these four still locked in combat for the top spot of the GT4 finishing results. As they work their way through,
The battles are
Austin
just
Green
so tightly packed.
around the outside there of Scott Fleming. It's going to break up that battle a little bit. Now Austin Green has to find out his way through this battle for the second position between Nick Bowen and Ethan Hamlet. And they may go in the favor of Nick Bowen. We'll see here as Austin Green leans on the door, forcing Nick Bowen wide. Going to open up a little bit of a gap there to those two drivers, but it may create a too-wide fight. Gian Cardoso tries to work his way through. It's all three of these drivers. Oh, man. A busy final few moments.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Together.
Keep it together.
Better together.
And
what a
all
finish.
of them will take to the checkered flag without incident. We will see a couple swaps for position between Eduardo Zamora, Tommy Kogan as well, working his way back up the order. Oh, man.
You ready to do 70 minutes of this?
Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be a good time. A few of these
what
drivers.
a race, though. Seriously, like that was quite the end. Like, do we have the results?
I think we do. I have results
cool.
here. Jack Wilkins is going to be the winner of the the LMP3 Pro heat race. Benjamin O'Shea going to get a solid second place finish to continue his podium and win aspirations for the championship. Luke Patrick going to come home in third. Herbert Pineda and Nathaniel Baker going to round out that 5-car grid. LMP3 AM, Phil?
Yeah, Paul Miles sneaking at the front of the field there at the start of the race and manages to hold it all the way to the end. Sean Sullivan going to come across the line in second with Brent McFall in third, newcomer. It's a good start for Brent and Brenton. Alan Love in fourth with Jake Fulton, our pole sitter, drops to fifth after a spin. Logan Branson, incident in the final complex, lost the front end. He's going to be starting from the back of LMP3 AM, but he's got pretty good pace this weekend. So I'm looking for big things from Logan.
Yeah, just a little too much curbing, I think, on that final corner cost him the spin he got himself, and then Nathaniel Baker added insult to injury. So, all right, GT3. It's going to be a little bit of a long one. Carter James going to take on the win there. 7 seconds ahead of Mike Gallant, who had a fantastic run. Multi-class traffic, I think, really going in the favor of Carter James there. Christopher Blue rounding out that podium, a fantastic result for the 530 Corvette, just moments ahead of Corey Labner. Those two getting caught up in multi-class traffic with the GT4s, which I think is how they ended up so close together. Tanner Schiffner going to be rounding out the top 5. Anthony Newman, after a spin early on in the Senna S, is about midway through this race. He's going to get a good recovery up into 6th. Andrew Matthias going to be in 7th there. Austin Green, Gian Cardoso rounding out as well as Tommy Kogan rounding out that top 10. Last of these battles, drivers just all in a battle for those positions, with the likes of Kerry Nolan, Eduardo Zamora, Matt Pyle, Mark Robeson, and Ryan Beauchene. Going to be the last drivers on the lead lap. Ryan Nolan, Dave Schneider, John Newman, Alexander Vatoshkin, as well as Ian Southern, rounding out the 20 GT3 cars. GT4 Pro, I think, was the one we want to watch, I think, in the feature here coming up, because these four did not let up at all.
Yeah. This is a pretty big field. I think with the finishing result of Jake Hewitt, Nick Bowen, Ethan Hamlet from the back of the field to third is a pretty big deal. Scott Fleming, though, fought really hard to try and keep with the podium there at the end, and they were just so tightly packed. It was just wild to watch. But Henry Garcia in fifth, 6.9 seconds from the front of the field. Tim Mello giving him a good fight there. Jaden Ledbetter and Robert Lewis round out I think the majority of the GT4 Pro field. Oh, Paul York did actually finish a lap down. Did get back out on track, so props to Paul York for trying to farm some extra points before going into the feature race.
Yeah, a bit of a rough one there at the start there. Our only driver, I think, did not survive the first run through the Senna S's in the heat race, but he was able to put that together there. Last but not least, Jonathan Barrett, Levi Powell, and William Lewis are our 3 GT4 AM drivers. They all pretty much finish how they started. A pretty quiet race in the GT4 AM category this season,
Indeed.
for the heat race here. Ideally, we'll see what kind of spice up they can do in the feature. 70 minutes of GT multi-class GT3, GT4. We just talked about the grid in terms of their finishing results. Paul Miles is going to finish 4th overall, which will see him just outside the podium spots for the overall LMP3 finishes.
Yep.
And our podium fighters, I think, for the season, definitely on the front row here. And Logan Patrick going to be working his way through, trying to get what he can of those.
So 70 minutes. So we are going to see some pit stops because we do have 50% for LMP3, 50% fuel capacity for GT4, but 45% for GT3. So it's going to be interesting with the fuel stops. I think we're looking at probably for the LMP3s, GT4s, depending on if they want to try and stretch it, maybe a single stopper. Might be looking at a 2-stopper for the GT3s, almost guaranteed. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of magic people can pull out on strategy.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one to see where they end up. These Echelon Motorsports McLarens, I think, are going to make for an interesting one, as I think because of the way that Jake Fulton intermixed a couple of these, they might get a little bit of Christopher Blue might get a little bit lucky in terms of having a bit of a clear runway down turn number 1.
Yep.
So it'll be a pretty fun one, I think, when we get into racing here. Nathaniel Baker.
Quick shout out. We got some streamers racing with us tonight. We've got Milo the First. That's Paul Miles. He's on Twitch right now if you want to go watch him. We've also got Smogbogs. He's going to be racing as well. I believe that is Levi Powell, if I remember.
Smogbogs, I think, is Sean Sullivan.
Oh no, that's Sean Sullivan. He's got Pickle in there, and I was thinking he's like running. Maybe he's running Pickle Powell with Levi Powell this season. But anyway, I saw Pickle in the tags, and I was like, interesting. But yeah, we got a number of streamers on there. Logan Branson normally streams under Wookie OH if you want to go check him out. But yeah,
Corey Lobner. I think we talked about him already, but one I always love to catch when I can.
Indeed.
Amongst those, a fantastic
very
result.
Cool stuff.
We'll see a few of these drivers work their way through another shortened pace lap. See these drivers come around the last bit of sector 2 into the final sector.
The camera shots on this track are just super cool, in my opinion. Another thing that Interlagos has got, the tracks don't.
I think the elevation change that is it looks so subtle when you're not in the car. But, like when you saw our onboards and qualifying onboards during the race, it has a lot of up and down elevation changes, which makes for some very tricky and technical corners. But it also allows you to have those great shots of cars going down and around a corner in addition to the kind of the more flat, less dynamic tracks that don't really give you such good angles while still being, you're on like the track surface, but you can still look up into the track, kind of similar you can like with Bathurst. Other tracks that have a lot of elevation changes.
All right, pace cars coming in. We've got the Canadian wildfire filter turned on, and here we go.
We certainly do. Good jump for Jack Wilkins, as well as Luke Patrick to some degree. Going to keep Benjamin O'Shea and Luke Patrick too wide going through this one. Paul Miles as well as Herbert Pineda going to be duking it out too wide as they work their way through. Huge moment there for Sean Sullivan. Excuse me, not Sean Sullivan. It's going to be the likes of Brenton McFall. Works his way through. Logan Branson going to be pretty good as well. GT3s diving their way into turn number 1 as all the LMP3s have cleared them 3 wide as they go through. Austin Green caught in the middle. Tommy Kogan going to go around the outside. Matthias on the inside. We'll see those flip as well as the GT3s work their way through, and they're clear of turn number 1. Jake Hewitt going to have a great launch there alongside Ethan Hamlet, who got a good run. Nick Bowen's going to work his way around the outside. All these drivers pretty smooth so far. Paul York working his way out from pit lane. after having a pretty rough start.
Well, I think he's taking the conservative approach. He's just like, you know what, 70 minutes. I'm going to start from pit lane. I'm going to dodge all that Senna S nonsense and then vanish and then reappear. And
we'll see how that pans out for him. Should pan out pretty well. Benjamin O'Shea with an off-track season, dropped down the order. So I think he had to keep that car from going the wrong direction. He'll drop down, I think probably net to 6th, as Sean Sullivan will probably make his way around the outside here by the end of the start-finish straight.
It said Benjamin O'Shea is going to have the inside line as they get ready to go in turn 1. It's going to throw the anchors out.
As the garage door opens underneath me.
Yeah. It is
lap number 1 successfully for the LMP3s. GT3s very similarly.
Oh, man, Corey Lobner is so close right now to Tanner Schiffer.
Yeah.
Like, so close.
Nick Bowen going to be having a moment here.
What's going to happen here?
Jake Hewitt gets passed by Ethan Hamlet towards the end of this lap. Big slide as he goes around that final corner. Not a lot of grip on those GT4s particularly. We'll see him rejoin the end of the GT4 grid.
Let's throw him off. But again, 70-minute race. We're going to have some fuel stops, so maybe he can keep head down, see what he can do. Corey Lobner in the Citrus Farmers Mustang.
Whoa, these 4 LMP3s all battling out for the other spot of the LMP3 AM podium.
Yep, Jake Fulton is on a mission.
Right along the USMC LMP3, or USMC sponsored LMP3. Brent McFall is at the tail end of these 4 LMP3 drivers. Whoa!
Oh, the dive from way downtown. Brenton McFall. It's like, it's got that George Russell energy, but he didn't run into anyone. Bold move from Brenton McFall. Good stuff. Good close fighting right now. Right off the bat.
Absolutely. And Paul Miles, as well as the little ways up the order, we see another battle of about 4 or 5 cars in LMP3 category working their way through. Amongst all this, GT3 battling still quite close for all spots of the order. And then the GT4 grid settling down a little bit. That battle we saw at the beginning kind of broken up as Nick Bowen had his moment. Trying to fall behind. Oh, boy, howdy. Spun Herbert Pineda there. He's going to back it up and out of the way.
That was quick thinking.
Yes.
Quick thinking.
Luke Patrick also labeled as crashed with a meatball amongst all this. He's missing a front end. What happened here? I think
his front left is completely broken.
Yeah, I see a crash out of Herbert Pineda and a crash out of Paul York. Let's see what happened here. I wonder if this was tied together.
Herbert.
He had his own slide. This is a separate incident. We saw that one. Meanwhile, that was going on in second from the other spot on the podium. Besides,
whoa!
What hardware failure happened there? Hold on.
That had to have been a hardware failure. That chassis is completely toast.
Let's look at this. Let's look at the hand positioning on the bottom right corner where you can see the wheel. Or he just wasn't paying attention?
Do you think he just looked away briefly? But man, that Purple Rain LMP3 is just absolutely toasted.
And a black flag, I think, for speeding on pit lane amongst all that. Does get the fast repair, does get to get back out on track, but that is going to be, I think, a hurt in the points standings for that LMP3 effort. Benjamin O'Shea looking to find his way back around. Sean Sullivan fending off from where Benjamin O'Shea had the off track early on. And Paul Miles now in second overall as well as the spins from the other two LMP3 Pro drivers who
This
were in
is
front of him.
Crazy. This is crazy. I'm taking a look at the order. So we got LMP3s are absolutely like nuts right now. But would you be shocked to hear that in GT3 there's a pocket of cars?
I would not. Let me pull up this track map again because I think it'll become important for us. This pocket of cars does not change at all. Oh,
all right. Oh, Brent McFall off track, but I think he's going to avoid some damage.
I think he just overcooked into turn 1. Does keep it out ahead of the GT3s.
Yeah, but if you start back at like Austin Green, it is...
Or Corey Lobner.
Absolute. Yeah, Corey Lobner, Austin Green. It's banana bread over here in GT3. It is...
Let's see here.
Oh wow, the move on the inside. Is he gonna dive him in turn 4? I think he's still too far. But that was a squiggle on the rear end from Corey.
Yeah, he definitely
under
was giving
braking
him enough space, and that was going to cost him a little bit of time. That's why I see them too wide. Austin Green really trying to apply the pressure there. And
Matthias. The field section is going to be so tricky.
Oh, Ender Matthias is going to lean down the inside of that one, trying to get a nose in, so that way he's on the inside of this last one. Hard to do.
The other thing that's so tricky about it, too, the infield section's got so many concentrated low-speed corners that you can just sometimes feel stuck behind somebody. Like Tommy Kogan with hand controls in 9th overall, or in 9th in GT3. It's like, okay.
Hard to take my eyes away from this. GT4s have pretty well spread out, with the exception of this battle for the other bottom 2 spots of the top 2 spots of GT4M. Though, of course, as soon as I go to look at this battle, Austin Green will get around Corey Lobner for the moment. But we've not ridden on board with too many GT4s. You can see that quite nice AC controls on the McLaren.
I mean, we want our sim racers comfortable.
Yeah, I would say that's the.
We're not monsters.
No,
we're not monsters. We're not trying to like burn them up in the car. But exiting out of this left-hander here. So again, like you were talking about before, man, the change in elevation at Interlagos is such a sight to behold as they get ready to go out of Junco and now through the penultimate corner here. Gonna move over to the left and hopefully not delete ourselves.
Well, speaking of not deleting ourselves, Benjamin O'Shea labeled as crash, also labeled with a black flag. I want to take a look at what happens here. This is in the middle of trying to get around multi-class traffic. Nick Bowen going to be a part of that, and he's going to end up getting pushed out wide, tipped, tries to catch the car, but not soon enough before that front left will just clobber the inside tire barrier, or the outside tire barrier, excuse me.
Yeah, so Benjamin O'Shea with the...
Brutal.
I think probably a broken front right, if I had to guess, with the way they went into the wall.
But yes, you can definitely see it on the inside of it. The car does
so if I were him, I'd be thinking like, okay, all right, so we're gonna do the fast repair, or maybe not do the fast repair. Maybe take the pit stop now, because again, we're looking at probably a 1 stop with LMB3s, but maybe 2. Maybe 2. In which case, if he can get it started early and then maybe try and push a little bit deep in his second stint. Oh, man, door to door. Look at this.
Anthony Newman getting a great set of corners here over the past couple laps to speed up and get around Christopher Blue while having a fantastic run in the heat, having a little less success. Also multi-class traffic. Benjamin O'Shea, I say multi-class. He's trying to fight for the overall position to get back above the GT3s. And then you have the whole host of GT3s right behind him. You can see...
Yeah, just an absolute gaggle.
Just a train of them.
GT3s. Yeah.
Pulled out this dynamic can a couple times earlier on, but one, I think, a point in the middle. Corey Lobner going to drop down a couple positions from where we last left this train of GT3 cars. So they work their way through the final corner and up the hill towards the start-finish line. It's a good run out of Corey Lobner on that final corner. Andrew Matthias going to have to drive a little defensively. Yep. We'll see them as they dive into turn number 1.
Yep. Very close. Andrew Matthias going to stay out in front of Corey Lobner. Corey Lobner just really glued to the gearbox. Exit out turn number 3.
Yeah, Austin Green had a wide run there. It's going to see those two drivers work their way through.
Using the draft into turn number 4.
Corey Lobner's going to sneak by.
Or he's just going to follow him through.
Yep. Great moment there. Sees these 3 drivers almost swap positions again. Corey Lobner's going to be a little hung out to dry, not intentionally, but has to keep a nose into that corner. Austin Green going to put a little bit of a gap there.
Man, they are driving so close to one another. It is wild right now.
Out of all 40 cars, almost all of them are currently on the last couple sectors. You can see on that track map where they're all working their way down the front start-finish stretch. Multi-class traffic currently ongoing between the LMP3s and the GT4s, as well as the tail end of the GT4s happening to get into the mix with the GT3s here. You can see Paul York had another moment at some point in this one. No damage this time, but ends up finding himself at the tail end here of the field.
Carter James pipping another fast lap out of 31.59.
Mm-hmm. LMP3 pretty spread out after the couple of spins, has taken most of the field away from each other, but Herbert Pineda working his way back through the field, mostly just to get back into a fight for a position there. And Paul Miles keeping Nathaniel Baker honest up towards the sharp end of this. And our battle, I think, between Henry Garcia and Tim Mello is yet to resolve itself too meaningfully either, as Tim Mello has just enough pace to keep on working his way through.
Yeah, it's one of the two battles going on right now in GT4.
There, I think, being between William Lewis and Nick Bowen. Yeah. There's Nick Bowen. There's William Lewis. Benjamin O'Shea trying to get around the last 2 GT3s right above in front of these two. He's going to have a little bit more time. And they're both going to, I think, split the difference of this GT4. He likes
Jonathan Barrett is like, just going to hold his line.
That's all you can really do in the GT4 when you have multi-class traffic of both other classes working its way around.
So, a little over 14 minutes has gone by as we're still kind of getting stuck into the first stint of this race. Austin Green hanging with Andrew Matthias now. Corey Lobner kind of losing pace relative to them in the background.
Only for a little bit. Multi-class traffic, I think, is also going to add a bit more of a factor. Looking a little bit further back, Tommy Kogan, Matt Pyle, Gian Cardoso also in another battle within a second of each other. I think it could really go all the way back to John Newman if I really wanted to. Say John Newman or maybe even Ian Southern. And if we were to ride on board, you'd see all these cars off to the right here as they dive into turn number 1. That's going to be a couple stopped cars up ahead. That's Jonathan Barrett and Nick Bowen. What happened there? Hold on. Jonathan Barrett from the lead of the GT4 AM, holding his line. Does he try to? 3 wide. That is never going to end well. And I think he just gets a little bit tapped. And Nick Bowen adds more to it as well.
Hopefully that front end is not broken. He did pull off. Do you see him stopped? Yeah, it does look like he jumped to the pits. I bet he got hit with the black flag because that was a pretty
but maybe it was one
solid shot in the front end.
Yeah, or it's one that he didn't feel like he wanted to try to limp around for one reason or another, mostly because that's such a technical sector, and if you're slow through it, you're only going to add problems instead of take any away. So probably one that he also just didn't want to escalate too much further so he decided to jump for the pits there. William Lewis, all amongst those drivers, technically, I think. I don't know where he went. Okay, he's still there. That's probably got to be scary for
Oh my goodness.
everybody involved. From where
my
he
heart. William Lewis just getting absolutely mugged by a bunch of GT3s. And then he's got more coming.
Yep.
It's not over.
Nope. Ian Southern got to catch up to John Newman as they both are behind William Lewis now, speaking of. Cascadia liveried McLaren GT3. William Lewis is in the middle of all these McLarens.
I wonder what John Newman feels like, because for the folks that don't know, John Newman has run GT4 every season before this one.
Yeah.
This is the first season he's run
take a
anything
spin.
other than a GT4, and that is a spun car.
Alexander Vatoshkin gets the car going. I don't know that he got too much damage. See if the rear end looks a little bit. No, I think he just had a spin all by himself and kept it out of trouble.
Very fortunate.
Absolutely.
Oh, we got Matt Pyle on Tommy Kogan. Braking a little bit earlier, just putting a little bit of pressure on Tommy. Exiting out of turn 3. Got the GT4 in front, the number 3. I believe that's Jaden.
Mm-hmm.
Black flag led better.
Oh, Levi Powell also having a moment where he ends up jumping to pits.
And that's going to be unfortunate. That's going to split up the GT4 AM battle.
Oh, there's more multi-class traffic. Tim Mello and Henry Garcia in the view where Corey Laubner is working his way around right now.
See a moment where Tommy Kogan just washes the front end out a little bit. Gives Matt Pyle an opportunity to close in a little bit closer.
Nope. Still too foggy to try to use a webcam.
Yep. The Canadian wildfire cam.
Tommy Kogan.
That's the view from Canada right now.
That it is. Also the view from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
As they are also getting hit with that.
Yep, Northern Hemisphere.
Yep. Battle's going to get broken up a little bit as a result of multi-class traffic, but Andrew Matthias, Corey Laubner working their way back into a battle as multi-class traffic has gone in the favor of those two.
Austin Green kind of sandwiched right now.
Certainly is.
Jake Hewitt.
Oh, boy.
Prayers, everyone. It's getting mugged.
The GT4 field pretty well and spread out. There's not a whole lot. I think until we get into the multi-class or the pit cycle and how that affects everyone. F's in chat.
F's in chat for the honey wagon.
I think that was our Jonathan Barrett, who has parked that car for the evening. So there's not a lot going on. Tim Mello catching up to Harman Garcia because thanks to multi-class traffic is going to see those two almost come into contact. Nope, that's all. The Porsche Cayman 718 GT4, I think, is the most road-sounding car of the lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair. That's a fair one. Just watching as Tim Mello in the draft trying to catch up to Henry Garcia. This battle for fourth. He's keeping Henry honest.
Yeah.
Is Henry the lone BMW in
Yes. What we have at least tonight in GT4.
Okay, yeah. With the wide sniffer. 31 people in chat hanging out with us for round number 2 of the sports car series at Interlagos.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, bit of an off track there for Henry. Oh, Luke Patrick trying to find his way through.
Luke Patrick is like, have you seen my sewing skills? Watch me thread this needle.
Jake Fulton, Logan Branson, I think, as well as Herbert Pineda, all going to be into a battle as well. 2 of those battling for the bottom step of the podium.
Also, Luke Patrick currently fighting his way through the GT3 field, still in it after massive crash on the penultimate corner.
Logan's throwing some lofty dives.
But yep. He kept it. He kept it on track. All that matters. Like we out here living. Currently in 4th, LMP3 AM. Going to chase down Herbert Pineda Sr., see if he can get a little bit closer to Jake Fulton. And we're getting close to those pit stop window because we got 22 minutes on the clock have elapsed. I'd say we're looking at 30 to 35 minutes for the first pit stops. If the LMP3s or GT4s are going to try and commit to the 2-stopper, I'm wondering if we're going to see anybody kind of split the difference between that first and second stop. Maybe pit a little early, get the undercut.
Would have to imagine if they're going for the 2-stop, they would be doing so. Or I think we have a couple drivers maybe trying to stretch it for a 1-stop, but it's going to be a pretty hard one to manage.
It is. With the short lap and the amount of traffic that you're going to be navigating, it's going to be very easy for that sort of thing to happen. But the other thing is, too, is that I'm also kind of wondering with the slow speed corners here at Interlagos, tire degradation I don't think is going to be too big a deal. So,
yeah.
I mean, except for the folks that have already, spun a few times.
I think it's only going to be really a thing to keep an eye on for the drivers who've had some nasty spins, or the ones who are really stressing the tires trying to make some moves over the course of this. 70 minutes for most of these sets of wheels in terms of tire lifespan. That's usually well and good within, I would say, a pretty operational window. Depending on how that all pans out, of course. We'll have to see. I wonder if Corey Lobner is going for that one pit strat, which is why we see him kind of slowing down over the course of this stint. Jump back over to see Tim Mello, how that's going.
Tim Mello sticking to Henry Garcia, going into the Senna S's right now. He's been keeping Henry really honest. Like they've been really close, pretty much all throughout, even with the traffic, kind of weaving in and out. Like the other big thing I'm watching right now is like just that battle between Tommy Kogan, Matt Pyle. Tommy Kogan, who I believe is on hand controls, which is absolutely bonkers.
That is pretty wild if, you have hand controls.
I told him, I was like, listen, you could just set it up to where, like, use the handbrake, convert it to, like, dual axis, like a one-pedal car.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be kind of wild. Herbert Pineda Sr. marked his crash? Question?
It does look like it. He's moving again. So
he's moving, so maybe just a spin?
I think so.
Although that rear lockup.
Yeah, I'll see here. He's trying to get around. We saw him spin a little bit earlier. Trying to get around Jake Fulton.
Yeah, it's Jake Fulton, and then they touch, and then he just, like, tips the front end of the car inward a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's going to allow Brenton McFall to get around him, so he's going to have to do a little bit of rebuild there to get back up into the points.
Now these two are going at it. Brenton McFall, Logan Branson. for that final 2 spots in the top 5 of LMP3 AM. Let's see how I do this. I haven't done this yet this season. Hey, it does work. Love that. Logan Branson on the outside. Brenton McFall leaning on that door. Going to have an interesting run through that line as a result. Going to have an off track. Will that be a slowdown penalty? It won't. But it's not a very fast line as Logan Branson's slowly clawing back the time. Brenton's going to have to pick the defensive line.
I'm just looking through the data because, yeah, I think we got some GT3s that are diving in early. Andrew Mathias, Austin Green, Tommy Kogan, Matt Pyle, Kerry Nolan. So, yeah, 27-minute mark, and we got GT3s coming in right now to go ahead and get their stuff started. But that also could be that 45% fuel tank. Does look like we have enough cars in our massive 43-car grid that we are double stacking pit boxes.
Nice. Always cool to see. Henry Garcia, Tim Mello catching up to Scott Fleming.
Yep.
So maybe a third car there. We'll come back to that, I think, in a little bit. As Brendan McFall and Logan Branson, I think, are still into a mix here.
Now, we are about to have a gaggle of cars that are about to filter out of the pit exit in front of this.
Oh, yep. I see him right now.
Yep, look at that.
This is Dave Schneider right in front of Logan Branson. And his teammate John Newman's going to come out right in the middle of all this, which means that Logan Branson's chances at fighting are only a little hampered. I love Benjamin O'Shea. Going to be battling it out as well. Benjamin O'Shea looking to make his way back up the order.
Currently running 8th overall, 8th in LMP3 category. And
Ooh.
Believe it or not, 3rd in pro.
Nice.
Jaden Ledbetter mark just crashed. What happened there?
Oh boy. What happened, Jaden? Looks good so far.
Okay.
Over rotates it.
Fine.
Yep. There it is.
Yep. Now, how many black flags were generated in the filming of this shot?
Looks like 0. For the time
It's
being.
like 0. Like 0. He's waiting. He's waiting for He's waiting for the moment when he's going to sail the high seas and generate some X's. And we got some more GT3s coming in. Ian Southern, Corey Lobner, Ryan Nolan, Alexander Vitoshkin. We also had Gian Cardoso. Oh, no, Gian Cardoso staying out. Carter James, Mike Gallant, Anthony Newman, all diving in as well. Looking at the pit stop times, the front runners actually have some pretty high times. Mike Gallant, 22.08 in the box.
So
Average time is looking like high 19s, mid 15s, or mid 19s, something like that. No.
Matthias having a crash, but I think it's just a self spin.
Yeah.
Just take a look at that real quick. Coming
What
out.
if he did tires and maybe they're cold?
That'd be my guess. Yeah, you can definitely see that there where the tires did not quite bite.
But they're not now.
Yep.
Not cold now.
Nope. Jack Wilkins from the lead of LMP3 going to dive into the pit box amongst the large swath of drivers working their way into the pit cycle. Still got a few.
Schiffner, Gian Cardoso going. Well,
means that we're going to see them probably take a splash at the end of this race, if it stands to reason. Nathaniel Baker going to take over the lead of this race. Oh, that was a very slow run down the Senna S's. At least looked like it. Jake Fulton.
Anthony Newman in the background of Mike Gallant. Anthony Newman, 19.98 in the box, and then we've got Mike Gallant with a 22.08. Now, in terms of like full
What
pit
happened?
lane travel time, they
Gian.
both ran 41s.
Gian,
Ian,
what are you doing?
Ian's like handbrake style points.
Certainly style points.
Yeah.
All right.
Think about the number of dates he's going to get from that shot. Phone numbers are going to be coming in them DMs.
I don't remember if
I mean, while that all happened, Westfall TC followed us on Twitch.
Hey, thank you for
I mean,
following.
come on. Like, this is the action people want to see.
This is the action people would like to see. Rest of the GT4 grid that did not come in already, coming in now. John Newman joining those labeled as crashed.
Should we watch what happened to John? Should we alert witness protection?
Let's see what happened. We should probably alert witness protection. I don't think that's really changed a whole lot, even though he's changed classes. I think he was, much like we saw with Jaden a couple moments ago, just a little too much. Yeah. Kept it out of harm's way, though, and got it
Style
going.
points.
Yeah.
Style points. With the camera shot and everything, perfect framing.
Absolutely. Anthony Newman is going to get around Mike Gallant, or they're going to go too wide going into turn number 4 here. This might end in bloodshed. Thankfully, it does not seem to.
Nah, they got that huge runoff area. There's a hot dog stand out there and everything.
Just because the hot dog stand's out there doesn't mean they want to go to the hot dog stand. Still too wide.
They are door to door.
They're trading a little bit of paint. Anthony Newman going to get the better entry there. Make sure nobody over-rotates. I think he has got that position secured for the moment. But multi-class traffic may come into factor here.
I believe that might be
Robert Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah, Beltan in the West. AMG running the 949 in GT4 Pro this season.
Jake Fulton still has yet to pit. Is he going to do our one-stop strategy?
I mean, he may be the one that pulls the trigger on it.
Still has yet to pit. Our only driver on track who has not pit yet. Curious.
He's holding second if he pulls that off. Like if he pulls that off right now, he's holding second.
No, he's
Here he
diving
comes.
in.
Yeah, no, he's not gonna make it.
No.
Just a little short.
A little shy.
Little
Stands.
short.
Logan Branson gonna have a crash amongst all that as well. It was in a battle that he was having.
He could have gotten like another 3 minutes on track.
Mm-hmm.
Been
Just
set.
too much rotation? Yep, too much rotation. Applied the power too early. And then tried to fix it. And
Yep. And the traction control went waka waka waka, and here you go, off track.
Christopher Blue, Charles Austin Green. Gonna be going too wide throughout this sector as well.
Christopher Blue's really doing some good work in GT3 this season.
Yeah,
like I'm really enjoying watching him really like come to form in the Corvette. War Machine 40,000, 50,000. Just followed us on Twitch, and we met our follower goal of 240.
Hey.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Super cool.
Multi-class traffic. Gonna be adding some flavor to this battle.
Robert Lewis is like, I'm a nope out of this.
Yep. He's like, I'm sitting pretty in 6th here. I'm not gonna worry about it. Ryan Beauchesne, Alexander Vitoshkin, excuse me.
Yep.
Where did
All
I
right.
get Valensky out of? Some other league, I'm sure.
Yep, probably. But yeah, Alexander in the McLaren trying to hold off Ryan Beauchesne in the pile driver 64. Not quite side by side as they go into the penultimate corner, but man, they're close.
Do you have enough run there for Ryan Beauchesne to be alongside? Alexander giving him plenty of room.
Yeah,
I think Alexander's
good,
just
respectful racing right there.
Whoa! Late into the braking
wow.
zone for Beauchesne. Sees Vitoshkin having a great moment there, keeping that car out of problems.
Good heads-up driving from Alexander.
Absolutely. See that pass happened there. Paul Miles alongside, right behind this battle, excuse me, Sean Sullivan in the battle for the lead of LMP3AM. I had to do my math. Reason for that is a 5-second faster pit cycle for Sean Sullivan over Paul Miles.
Yeah, I think Milo might have gone for tires.
I think so.
And the thing is that, you know, tires, don't get me wrong, when you're dealing with like degradation issues and stuff like that, it can be, oh man, rear right lockup from Sean Sullivan going into the low speed section behind Alexander. Dives to the inside. He's going to get around. Anyway, the tire change, when you're dealing with the degradation, you may think you're going to get some serious like net benefits from switching tires. Problem is that the tires in iRacing, at least at the sim level, they take a while to heat up, kind of like come into like the operating window. So I'm kind of wondering if Paul's struggling a little bit with pace relative to that, because although his pace is actually starting to pick back up, his last lap was a 30.59, which is about a second slower than his personal best. Now looking at this lap, times are a little bit closer, 30.86 for Paul Miles, 30.99 for Sean Sullivan. Luke Patrick's into the pits.
Luke Patrick going to be diving in because he had an early pit stop last time.
Yep.
Meaning that he's
for a broken car.
Yes. Quite a broken car. We'll see him pitting in for his first full stop. Maybe his only one, if he can manage it pretty well from here to the end. Only 14 seconds in the box. I wonder if he's going to try to do some damage control with that one. These two still going at it. Hold on. Let's take a look through the mail slot for these two drivers. Whoa, big moment there. Sean Sullivan. I think those tires are pretty warm at this point.
And dives to the inside, William Lewis. Now through the uphill section. I gotta wonder how much like aero wash you get.
Onto that.
Especially around a track like this one, because there's definitely some sections where you come out of low speed stuff into like medium speed corners.
Yeah, I wonder.
31.2 and a 31.5 respectively. So Paul Miles starting to
get back
lose some pace. I think actually both of them are losing pace relative. Herbert Pineda, by the way, 29.95 last lap. Jake Fulton at 29.98. So both Paul Miles and Sean Sullivan struggling pretty hard relative to the rest of the field.
I think multi-class traffic did not do them any favors this lap. I think that's a big reason we see that number looking low by comparison.
Yeah.
Much like I think we'll see out of Brett McFall and Jake Fulton, who also had a swap in positions amongst all this.
Part of the race is going to be really tough for the drivers. They're going to have to knuckle down, really just try and hit their numbers, especially relative to one another in the in terms of like pace and pit stop strategy.
I think that's definitely going to be the case. Gap opening up for those two drivers. Sean Sullivan, Paul Miles going to be diving back down into a battle with each other, as Jaden Ledbetter tries to keep out of the way of those two drivers, as well as Robert Lewis, who are, speaking of a battle between two drivers, Robert Lewis, Jaden Ledbetter, finding themselves within a reasonable amount of time. Multi-class traffic really going to help out Jaden Ledbetter this time around. Robert Lewis, going to be tossed a little wide by Sean Sullivan. Sees these two on a drag race.
Immediately moves over to the inside line. Now, they got the runoff area going into turn 4. How close is Robert Lewis going to make this? Like he's going to let him have the spot. And we got Herbert Pineda Sr. pushing around the outside.
Hmm.
Now Robert Lewis in the 949 AMG.
Keeping
Catch back
Jaden
up.
Lewis.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Going real deep into the corner as a result.
Yep. Brenton McFall in there. Got some GT4s coming around. I believe that's maybe Matt Pyle.
I think it is Ryan Beauchene.
Oh, Ryan
Beauchene.
Beauchene. Oh, and there's a touch. Maybe a touch.
Oh.
Maybe netcode. Not sure. Although it looks like he got
Jake
reoriented.
Fulton.
Maybe he got tapped.
Yeah, well, it's such an awkward way to take that corner. Let me hit the replay here, and then we'll slow it down a little bit. The Robert Lewis ends up on the inside of this corner. It's one of the worst ones to try to pass around the outside on because of how slow everyone ends up going.
Well, also the GT4s don't have the same arrow.
There's
looks
the
like,
touch.
Yeah.
And then Jake Fulton gets caught up in it as Ryan Beauchene just ends up wide, and there's that touch there. Sees Jake Fulton spin around.
Yeah.
But I think everybody walks away from it. Okay.
So back to it. Looking through the field right now, Paul Miles, Sean Sullivan. Still a close battle. Sean Sullivan in the offline racing machine going after Milo the first. Jake Hewitt is marked as crashed. He is off track. Question is how much damage was done, if any. Might just be the usual of maybe a turn in rotation. Yep. Oh, wow. Evasive action from everybody. I don't think anybody hit him. That's crazy. That was some good heads-up driving from everyone in GT3. Just absolutely, like, parting the sea. JQ right now running 5th in GT4. Let's take a look and see if we can understand a little bit more about what happened here. Jake Fulton did have 25.12 in the box. Pretty good time, though, relative to the rest of the field. Finds himself in 5th behind Ethan Hamlet, Scott Fleming, Tim Mello, and Henry Garcia. So Ethan Hamlet up into 1st place after all this is said and done during the first pit stops.
Yeah, and Ryan Beauchene hit with a black flag for the incident limit.
Yeah, I figured we would probably get a drive-through or two.
I think so as well.
I think that's a done dizzle.
Yeah. These two still in a loose battle. It's basically whoever has the faster lap these most recent times by that gives them a little bit of position. Logan Branson just crashed again. So we'll see, as well as Sean Sullivan, who dove into pit lanes for his 2nd stop. Echelon Motorsports, Echelon Sim Sports has some lovely representation in chat. Nick Bowen off track, Robert Lewis off track, and a crash there. A few crashes happening right now. Let me see what I can decipher of those. Logan Branson, I think another bit of a spin here. Made it 1 corner further in the lap than he did the last time he had a spin. Just a little too much brake, and then he applies the power too quickly. He's been trying to hunt down Brendan McFall in the battle there. What happened to Alan Love? Much similarly, I think, this thing is a chain reaction of incidents here. Alan Love, Nick Bowen ended up off track amongst all. There is the incident and the contact that sees both him
wow,
as well as Nick Bowen.
And Robert Lewis.
Yeah.
Although Robert Lewis, I think, might have skated through that one
Looks like he
unscathed. I think
did.
he got off to the right pretty fast.
Let's see the onboard from Robert Lewis amongst all this. So I think he did as well.
Yes.
I'm just curious. Oh, no way for Nick Bowen to really understand.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Threaded the needle. Robert Lewis heads up driving in the 949 machine.
Bit of a brutal one at that. Alan Love working his way back through the field as a result now. That's going to make for some interesting driving. And he's going to get in a little bit of a contact there. That's going to crash into Mike Gallant. He's going to lose his front end for a brief moment. Walks away with it. I think netcode really helped out Mike Gallant right there. I don't see any damage.
His front end left this world and then came back.
Yeah. Juice, however, see a broken right rear there for Alan Love. And that opens up that gap to over a second.
Yeah, Mike Gallant still on track.
And he'll keep his spot as well. Still only a second behind. Tanner Schiffner setting his personal best of the session. Chris Blue trying to catch up over the course of this. Xander Matthias going to dive into pit lane for his second stop of the evening. I imagine we'll see second stops out of most of these drivers.
Yeah, I'm looking through the data right now, just trying to see if I can gauge when the next stops are going to happen. Good close racing, though, in this field right now.
Mm-hmm. Taking a look as well. I think in terms of the sheer numbers, anywhere from now until the end of the race will be a good time for in terms of the pit window. Oh, boy, howdy, Paul York. A little bit scary.
Yeah.
There. Jack Wilkins, 27 seconds ahead of Nathaniel Baker. Pretty much on a race of his own right now, and consistency is going to be the only thing he needs to worry about towards the end of this one. Jake Fulton, Sean Sullivan in a battle there as well. Swapping positions. Matt Pyle, Tommy Kogan swapping positions. Nice little over-under. Sees Jake Fulton hold on to the position for the time being. This battle between these two. Oh, man, they're going through the end of the final sector. Lamborghini against the Mercedes. Jeez. Oh, that pile dives in the pit lane at the last second.
Whoa.
Jake Fulton, Sean Sullivan, both labeled as having a crash amongst all this. Moments after we peeled away from them. It's going to be the middle of the second sector. I think just maybe a miscommunication there. Oh, slide out of Jake Fulton. Sees them both come to a stop.
Just a little tap.
I don't think there was even a tap. I think they managed to just get away with it. I think it just counted them both as slowing down enough to...
Just a little, hey, how do you do?
Yeah. For Pineda trying to get back onto the podium for overall. Paul Miles now defending against him. We've seen this battle before in the heat race. Excited to see where that develops.
So I cannot see off-track numbers, so I have no idea what people are sitting on. But I'm wondering if we're going to see some more drive-throughs here shortly.
I'd have to imagine we will.
So after the collision, Mike Gallant still running third, 33.2. Not really a bad time representative of Anthony Newman, who ran a 33.05. Could have been traffic involved because Carter James is pumping in 31.9s. Carter James in the 999 is just ghosting the field
Oh,
right now. Oh,
Paul
that
Miles
Paul
trying not to run
Miles.
into Tommy Kogan there.
Yep,
Gotta
and
see
Herbert
these.
Pineda smells blood.
Oh man.
And this is gonna hurt because Paul is stuck behind Tommy Kogan.
Yeah, no good opportunity there. Herbert
Yeah.
Pineda leaned on the door. Oh, and you see him almost have a moment there with Tommy Kogan, because Tommy Kogan almost tried to turn in right as Herbert Pineda came up alongside him.
Jake Hewitt. So he found his way around Henry Garcia, and yeah, they are nose to tail. Henry Garcia is almost followed him completely off the track.
Almost. Didn't have enough to get an overlap, though. It's going to tuck in behind. Jake Hewitt on a pretty solid recovery drive at this point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're starting to see some folks coming in for the splashes. I just saw Jaden in the pits for 11.6 seconds in the box.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to start seeing those splashes come into play. Wonder if people are just like, I can hit this number, dive into the pits, get fuel to that number, and then get back out on track. There's the 999. Flew to the back end of Jake Hewitt.
Yeah, as he's working his way through in the lead of the class. Oh, boy. Slow moment for Anthony Newman. Sees Mike Gallant pass.
Finds his way around. Yep.
Curious what happened there. Oh, huge moment there. Let me see. One more time I can see what happened. Oh, just too much acceleration. Or a slowdown, maybe?
Could have been a slowdown. Not sure. That was weird.
Yeah. Let me go back.
I don't know what happened with Henry Garcia in the pits. He entered the pits. He entered the pits. He left the pits. He entered the pits. He left the pits. He entered the pits. I don't know. Henry Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in next week to find out if Henry Garcia entered the pits.
Let's see what happened here. Let's take a quick look. Battles on track are in the process of getting sorted.
I mean, he just looks like he's in the pits.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Weird.
Maybe he didn't quite hit the pit box enough.
Maybe. Could have been. But he was on the jacks for 14 seconds and back out on track. Going to cycle out in front of Robert Lewis behind Jake Hewitt. Matt Pyle and
Perry Nolan.
Gary Nolan in the Mustangs, which are very popular this season. We've got four in GT3 and 2 in GT4 this season. So very popular car.
Brendan McFall hit with a black flag, probably for speeding on pit lane. Saw them all come in for their final pit stop of the evening. About most of the GT or LMP3 field has done so. And we'll see Paul Miles cycle out pretty well ahead of Herbert Pineda, and Sean Sullivan going to cycle out right in between, or who's going to cycle out in between Sean Sullivan and Paul Miles. So Paul Miles on looking for a moment there, but has to make sure that car keeps going the right direction. Only in the box for 8 seconds. So no tires for Sean Sullivan over the course of this race. And I think they're starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah, we had a 5-second delta in the pit box between Paul Miles and Herbert Pineda Sr. Looking right now, Austin Green in the box. Coming in for the splash. 55 minutes on the clock. We got another what would that be? 14 minutes of racing? 14-ish?
Certainly. I think thereabouts. Anthony Newman with a black
talk-
flag for incident limit.
Oh, wow. Anthony Newman in second place for incident limits. That's going to be huge. Tanner Schiffner in third with Christopher Blue. Mike Gallant is fifth right now. Mike Gallant, let's take a peek. Mike Gallant actually, that's interesting because Mike Gallant was only in the box for 13 seconds. But it looks like Tanner Schiffner, Christopher Blue pitted on lap 19 and 18 respectively. I think they may still have to pit.
I think they still do too. Anthony Newman, I think, going to serve. That or he had a slowdown penalty. He didn't serve fast enough. That's turned into a stop and go.
Stop and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to see how long he's in. Only in the box for 11 seconds. So we'll probably see him come back down pit lane for next time by.
Christopher Blue in the box right now, fifth in class. Going to drop down probably. I think Gene's going to find his way around.
Yeah, Alan Love's day goes from bad to worse. Same for a good host of our drivers. Benjamin O'Shea finding his way back up into third. These three drivers, we saw them a moment ago. Logan Branson going to be just ahead of Paul Miles and Herbert Pineda. All three of them now kind of within a little while of each other. Herbert Pineda tries the same trick he tried last time, but now he's going to go up the middle as Paul Miles takes the defensive route.
Yep. Downside is he's got a GT3 coming. He's going to have to bail out to the far side of the track.
Yeah, Paul Miles right on the inside there amongst all this. They're still too wide. Does neither want to lift.
Sean Sullivan right there, waiting to see what he can collect out of all these shenanigans.
A tip for
And Herbert Pineda has a moment, and I think one of the Mustangs had to throw on, Austin Green had to throw on the brakes, and I think
well,
that might have caught Paul Miles by surprise.
It did, and that's how we ended up getting turned by Paul Miles. As Paul Miles went into the corner, expecting that car to be a little bit faster. These three now all within a second and a half of each other.
So interesting. Herbert had the little wiggle, and then Paul Miles hits the car in front, and they both still come out of the corner relatively the same distance they went in because of the low-speed nature of that portion of the track. Anthony Newman filtering out.
It's only going to drop down.
I think this fight's going to go all the way to the checkers, if I'm honest, because they've been glued together most of this race.
That or bloodshed, whichever comes first.
So Logan Branson on the jacks for 6.87 seconds
Anthony
at the
Newman
59-minute mark.
Now with a speeding on pit lane, I believe. Because he just came through to serve the black flag. Jaden Ledbetter marked as crashed amongst all that. Oh, he pulls it across right in front of a couple drivers. Gets it going again. I think he just had a bit of a spin.
We almost had a black flag moment.
I think we very much did. Let's take a look back and see what happened there. And then I think a trio of cars all together for some good racing till the end. Oh, huge moment there. Just slid through it. Oh. Keeps it out of the wall, though, and then pulls it right in front of a couple of the drivers there. Luke Patrick amongst them. I think the likes of Mark Robeson in that Mustang. Kerry Nolan, Matt Pyle continue their battle from where they left it a moment ago. As the rest of the front runners of GT3 start to work their way in. Jaden, did you have another crash amongst all this? Jaden, what's happening?
What's happening, my dude?
A lap later. No, not even.
One lap later.
2 corners later. Sorry, a handful of corners later. I think those tires just might be a little bit long. Jaden, you might want to drive a little bit more conservatively. Just a thought. Jaden's like, why did I let this guy in the booth?
Yep. Yep. Going into the corner. Hey, Macarena. And
Ooh, this is going to be a spicy one. Gian Cardoso, Austin Green working their way through. Henry Garcia on the outside. Huge moment for Austin Green, though. He's going to see him with an off track there. Keeps it together, but Gian Cardoso is going to hold on to the spot. And we once again have a collection of GT3s all under a blanket. So I take a look at this gearbox of Gian Cardoso and his fancy one-off livery. Good to see a whole parade of them working their way through the second sector.
Did I miss something? Like Herbert Pineda Sr. is now down in 10th in LMP? What did I miss?
I must have missed it too. I don't know where I missed it.
Yeah, it's weird. I see it. Before John Newman was labeled as crashed. Jack Wilkins pulled off his last pit stop.
Let's see what happened. Oh, there he went.
Did Herbert Pineda just get disconnected?
Yeah, I think he's just been DC'd. Not by choice, maybe. But, yeah. Multi-class traffic giving Gian Cardoso a little bit of breathing room. However, the rest of the field still at it with some gusto. Corey Lobner trying to get around. Kerry Nolan.
No, Herbert's gone.
Yeah.
I think that must have been a disconnect.
I think it is. It's unfortunate.
So past the hour mark, hour and 2 minutes have ticked down on the clock now, hour 3 minutes, and we are in the final stages of this race with really close GT3 battles again.
Yeah. Yep. The track giveth and the track taketh away.
Ethan Hamlin in for his final stop. 9.6 seconds on the jacks.
Tommy Kogan, hand controls, putting in work, hanging on to this battle with the rest of the GT3 crew. As they are still fighting like crazy over these last spots. Oh, Kerry Nolan got hung out to dry behind the GT4 amongst all this. Oh, sorry, not Kerry Nolan. Austin Green hung out to dry. And Kerry Nolan's going to box him in. Whoa, huge moment there. I think for... Who was that? William Lewis? Nope.
One of the many GT4 Macas in the
Hewitt?
field.
No. Scott Fleming? I think it was Scott Fleming. There we go. Ryan Nolan. Oh, that's not a place you want to see a car when you're jumping onto the onboard. Or lone, I think, BMW in the GT3 category. Gets that car moving again. It's Corey Lobner. Swaps places with Austin Green for a moment.
So I'm thinking majority of the field have pulled the trigger on pit stops. I think the only one that I'm still waiting on is Jake Fulton.
Yeah, and we saw him come in so late to the halfway mark. I think we'll only see him come in equally as late towards the end of the race here. Corey Lobner checking up to not hit Paul York, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time to Austin Green. Tommy Kogan going to dive right back into this fight with these drivers. Sean Sullivan labeled as crashed as well. Nathaniel Baker diving in for his final pit stop. How happened to Jake Hewitt? I think it was maybe just self-spin. Or maybe he had a little bit of help. We'll find out. he did it all to
Yep.
himself.
Style points.
Oh. The battle between Tim Mello and now Scott Fleming kicking off here in the closing stages in GT4 as well.
Tim Mello has just absolutely not given up and fighting the whole time. Currently in third in GT4 Pro. Big result.
And seemingly having unlocked a bit of pace there.
Just making that Cayman do things.
Yeah, Breton's going to make it a little bit more awkward, though, for both him and Scott Fleming as they work their way through.
Newcomer Brenton McFall trying to navigate the low-speed corners with the GT4s involved.
Oh, big off track there for Tim Mello, though. I think is going to cost him a little bit of time in that fight. John Newman defending from Ryan Beauchesne in the closing stages here as well.
I'm loving this, man. John Newman in GT3. Like, witness protection money now in the middle class of the field. That Austin Green battle is getting hot.
All right. Take a look back at that one. Ryan Beauchesne keeping John Newman honest. Every time we think it calms down, Kerry Nolan, Austin Green get back into it once again, usually with some other cars involved. This time, Corey Lobner trying to keep up. Tommy Kogan doing his darndest to hang on from where he's at. Multi-class traffic, I think, spreading out that battle a little bit further than it was.
We got approaching the 2-minute mark.
Oh, a slide out of Austin Green. Gonna see him drop out of that battle. I'm curious what happened.
It's gonna lose some ground.
Oh, just his own slide, I think.
Just again for the cameras, smoke. Just throwing smoke.
Oh, multi-class traffic. Luke Patrick gonna make this a little bit more awkward. Kerry Nolan's forced to go a little bit wide.
Really puts you at risk on the right-hand section because it's very easy to over-rotate, especially how the change in elevation, or not the change in elevation, but the angle, the camber of the turn is just like awkward.
Yes. So I think that's so true about a lot of these corners. Despite the amount of elevation, the camber is not like perfectly in line with any elevation changes you get. So it's like this very fun but very technical, because you have to really know where that corner goes and how it drives in order to be able to pull off a solid move and not, oversteer, understeer your way through it. Black flags for Ryan Beauchesne as well as Ryan Nolan as we get into the final closing stages here. Jake Hewitt coming back to fight more with Henry Garcia in the GT4 Pro category. Same with Tim Mello, who's still taking the fight to Scott Fleming here in the closing stages.
I think with the position that Jack Wilkins is on track, I think we're going to see him come across the line before the end of the race.
Yeah, I think we'll get one more lap for all these drivers. I think Jack Wilkins is going to start his final time around the track this time by.
Yeah. So just taking a quick check-in in GT3, Carter James out front, but Mike Gallant in the 93 has closed that gap down.
I think
Tanner Shifter finding himself in third.
Yeah.
After not really being, somebody that we've seen on stream a whole lot in the 51 Merc. Tanner Shifter just putting in work, getting them results.
John Newman now with the black flag as he's labeled as crashed. He's still moving, so. Henry Garcia And Jake Hewitt battling for the bottom spots of the top 5. Leader
Oh.
in GT3 trying to work
Yep,
his way around too.
Yep. Just trying to out here living.
Yep. Find a spot. We'll see Mike Gallant in the background of that one as well. Or Gallant.
Ooh, Ethan Hamlet, William Lewis, and Brenton McFall all labeled as crashed at the same time.
Ryan Nolan as well. Let's see what happened here. I think it's got some multi-class drama going on here. Ryan Nolan going to be the first to kick it off. Let's see what involved this one. Oh, tip out of Brenton McFall and William Lewis. And then Ethan Hamlet got a tap on the inside there. Great defensive, or not really defensive, but weaving for Austin Green to not add to that problem. Checker flag is going to fly amongst all that. Seeing Jack Wilkins take home that checkered flag there. You see him there. You see Anthony Newman bringing home that car a little ways down the order, but keeps it more or less in one piece. Carter James coming out of the final corner now to come home.
Paul Miles also, like he's a little over halfway through the lap, but Carter James, Echelon,
Sim Sports.
Yeah, they've actually had like a really strong weekend here at Interlagos. And you can see Michael in the background right there.
Yep. 1-2 for them in the GT3 category. A win in the LMP3 Pro category as well for that team.
Tanner Schiffner coming across in third with Christopher Blue in fourth.
Daniel Baker, labeled as crashed, ends up in fourth. Oh, I think he ran out of fuel in the last lap.
Yeah, it looks like it.
He still is dropping down the order. Oh,
unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. We will, however, see Ethan Hamlet take the win in GT4 Pro as well. Scott Fleming going to come home in second there. And Nick Bowen going to be the last, I think, of our finishers yet to come across the start-finish line. Another driver that is out of fuel in the final lap.
And that's a hill.
Yep, it is all uphill through that final sector. Jake Fulton, driver already finished, going to give Nick Bowen a little bit of a push.
Psych. He's like, I'm going to give him a push. Psych. Just kidding.
A great recovery drive and fuel saving, as he points
Nick
out.
Nick Bowen getting the help.
Yep, he has made it across the line to take home the finish. We have some results. Let's take a look at them.
Good deal.
Here in a moment. Jack Wilkins going to take home the win there. Benjamin O'Shea, a fantastic recovery drive and some fuel saving sees him in a solid second position. And also just consistency, not to end up in another instant, I think is where he ends up where he is. Luke Patrick coming home in third, that extra pit stop doing some unfortunate damage in terms of the amount of time he has behind Benjamin O'Shea. Nathaniel Baker, Herbert Pineda, both finishing fourth and fifth. With Herbert Pineda, I think, having an issue towards the end of the race. LMP3 AM. Phil?
Paul Miles converting a top spot in LMP3 AM as well, alongside Sean Sullivan, who comes across the line in second place. Logan Branson finds himself in third after Jake Fulton has a pretty dramatic feature race. Newcomer Brent McFall is going to finish in fifth, with Alan Love finishing 16 laps down.
Yeah, I think a bit of an issue there for Alan Love. Sees him struggling with that finish. Paul Miles also finishing third overall, which I think would be important to note amongst that.
Yeah.
All right. GT3, a pretty crazy and pretty busy race for the GT3 category. Carter James going to come on with the winner there. Not one we talked about too much since he rode off into the sunset at the beginning. Mike Gallant battling with Anthony Newman for most of that up until some issues for both of them. Sees that battle come to an end. Tanner Schiffner, another driver we didn't talk much about, having a very quiet but consistent race to end up in third, just ahead of Christopher Blue, who ends up in fourth. Andrew Matthias rounds out that top five. Gene Cardoso going to be the last driver on the lead lap, with Matt Pyle, Kerry Nolan, Corey Lobner, and Tommy Kogan round out the top 10, with the likes of Austin Green, Anthony Newman, Mark Robeson, Alexander Vitoshkin, Ian Southern, John Newman. The last driver was really on the lead lap of GT3 with Ryan Nolan, David Schneider, Ryan Beauchesne, the last 3 drivers finishing it. Eduardo Zamora, I don't think took to the start of the race or did not race much after that. GT4 Pro. Phil?
Ethan Hamlet, after going from the back of the field in the heat race, finished 3rd there, going to take the win here. Scott Fleming's going to take home 2nd with Tim Mello, hard fought, getting there in 3rd in front of Henry Garcia. Jay Hewitt, the front runner there at the start, going to come across the line in 5th with Robert Lewis in the 949 machine in 6th place. Jaden Ledbetter in the number 3 for track limits. He's going to finish 7th in front of Nick Bowen and Paul York.
Yeah, all those drivers are going to take to the finish. And last but not least, our 3 GT4 AM drivers. William Lewis, I think, is going to be the only one that actually finishes the race, with both Levi Powell and Jonathan Barrett exiting early due to issues amongst them. Wild race. Final thoughts before we close out this one here.
It's a tough one.
Track limits.
Yeah, it was a tough one, man. For the folks out there that, mix it up in the multi-class racing on like a regular basis, a track like this, this many cars. I mean, we had 43 for round number 2. That was a wild one.
Yeah, especially at Interlagos, which is a
Yeah.
pretty solid track, but one that often a lot of drivers are less of a fan. You either really love it or really hate it, I feel like. I know a lot of drivers that will take a pass on this race sometimes. So to see 40 some odd cars out on track, I think made for a pretty exciting, at least here in the booth, hour and 10-minute feature that we've been having the pleasure of commentating. So I'm excited to see where the points settle after this week and when we get into our next race here next week, I believe.
No, 2 weeks time.
2 weeks
We're going to
time.
be 2 weeks time in Hungaroring,
Right.
August 8th. Yep. So for the
Yes.
folks that aren't going to get enough Hungaroring with F1 being there this weekend, you can check back in 2 weeks from now and watch multi-class action around Hungaroring, which should be pretty spicy. That I hear it's Monaco without walls. They just keep saying that on the broadcast. So
Is that what they say on the?
they say that's what they say in the F1. It's Monaco without walls, and I'm like,
What?
Yep. I mean, it's a take.
It is.
Anyway.
It is certainly a decision to put into the. Yeah. Yep. That's a choice.
That said, multi-class racing at Hungaroring is a very, very spicy meatball.
Yes.
So I would definitely say you want to check that race out. But 2 weeks time, August 8th.
We'll be back. I will be. I think it'll be you and Mr. Scott Fleming, I believe, will be in the booth joining you. From my understanding, as I will be, as it stands, probably not available.
Yeah.
So
That's okay. We're going to hold it down. It's going to be a fun broadcast.
absolutely, I will have to enjoy it from my spot on the beach, and
Heck yeah.
tune into it like I'm turning into an old school radio show. It'll be fun.
Fantastic. I hear I have a voice for radio, although I don't believe anyone whenever they tell me that. I am going to
as well, but you can choose not to believe it for the same reason I don't believe that statement when it's said to me.
Understood. Finn, should we kick it over to the raid?
I think we should. I think it's that time of day. So thank you all very much for watching. Those of you who have had the pleasure of joining us live, as well as all those who are going to come watch the VOD afterwards. We have been at Interlagos for an hour and 10 minutes, plus a 20-minute heat race, excuse me. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. I've been Fettuccini in the booth alongside Mr. Whelp Cakes, Phil Milley. Thank you again, as always, for all the work you do, because you really make this shit run. I just show up and speak for a little while. And we'll see you all in a couple weeks' time when we go to Hungaroring. And got anything? I think that's all I got. So we can kick off this raid. Where are we going for the raid? Speaking.
No, we're gonna go to Name Is Mud. That is Mr. Joey Malee.
Ooh,
The New World Sim Racing folks are doing the 6 hours of Road America. So say hi from Track Limits. I believe they are in the Mustang. So should be a baller adventure. They're fun guys. Check them out. But until next week, take care, everybody. And we're starting the race. 10 seconds.